Way through this process, right back to 2016, the SNP and the Scottish Government have sought compromise. We have published document after document Scotland's place in Europe. We know that Michel Barnier has read it. He said it's an interesting document. Why does the Prime Minister continue to ignore Scotland's voices? Why she has restricted herself to inviting the Leader of the Opposition? Why has she not invited the Scottish Government and the Welsh Government into formal talks? Why is it that Scotland's voices are being ignored by this Prime Minister and this Government?
Prime Minister!
Well, gentlemen, I'm actually meeting the First Minister of Scotland later today, and we'll be talking with her about the event of Scotland.
Now, what I would say to the opposition parties, I think collectively that we've all got a responsibility to explain this to people and say why it's important that we eject this government from office.
Bernard Jenkins, very keen to get in.
Well, I just want to ask a question. Can we take it then that if ever Scotland voted to leave the United Kingdom, the SNP would never agree to leave the United Kingdom until the British government had chosen to give Scotland a deal. So without a deal, Scotland would remain in the United Kingdom indefinitely. Is that right?
That's frankly ridiculous.
Well, it's the same, isn't it?
Because
if you left the United Kingdom.
No, you're being obtuse. Because what we will do is we will have a white paper, we'll have a plan, and we'll be prepared to go into negotiations.
So you'd leave without a deal?
And of course we'll be staying.
The Prime Minister promised an inquiry into the UK Government's handling of the pandemic. It must start right now. I will give way.
Great disrespect for him, and I understand why he's bringing this forward. But he must realise that we've just had a week where his own country's newspapers are full of the headline of Scotland becoming the COVID capital of Europe. Who's responsible for that?
You know, we really shouldn't be playing political football when it comes to... You know, Mr. Speaker, I have to say, that says it all. That says it all.
Because, of course, what the Scottish National Party today are doing are voting for no deal. Now, he's absolutely right. Now, what have they said in the past? Nicola Sturgeon said no deal would be a catastrophic idea. She said that the SNP could not countenance in any way no deal. She said SNP MPs will do everything possible to stop no deal. Except, of course, actually voting against it today. Indeed, so opposed to no deal were the SNP that the member for Edinburgh South West went to court to ensure that if the Prime Minister took us out of the European Union without a deal, he would go to jail. Now the leader of the SNP is voting to take us out of the EU without a deal. He's doing something that his own party said should be an imprisonable offence. So what's he going to do now? Turn himself in? Submit to a citizen's arrest at the hands of the member for Edinburgh South West? If his party follows through on its previous convictions, then I, of course, will campaign for him. And the cry will go out from these benches, free the Loch Harbour one. After the 2014 referendum, the SNP became the party that just wouldn't take no for an answer. Now that we've got a deal that they asked for, they're the party that won't say yes for an answer.
I always take pleasure in taking part in SNP debates, and I have done a few, and I'm beginning to notice a pattern. I have been called here previously to defend the UK's position on jobs, while the SNP have dismissed the 545,000 Scottish jobs reliant on being part of the UK. I've been called here to discuss the importance of hypothetical EU funding mechanisms, while the SNP dismisses the very real United Kingdom dividend to the taxpayers of Scotland of £2,000 per person, and in another debate the SNP sought to be the champions of democracy whilst they ignored the result of 2 referendums. So it might be a surprise to some that in a week when we've had more revelations about the Scottish Government's own lack of financial propriety and literacy, they have called a debate on such themes. But it is not a surprise to me. I think it shows admirable consistency, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and also shows a complete lack of self-awareness with a large helping of assumed piety.
But